let's resolve. Okay, hi. Very good evening, each and every person out there. And let's start with the doubt clearing first. Then we will move proceed further for the next orientation on the programming itself. Okay. So I hope yesterday you understood completely each and everything about the Arduino itself, like the microcontroller and what is especially we call the development boards and specific model number of chipset we are utilizing as microcontroller in the Arduino. And also, I will help you today with a few more examples of programming using the Tinker CAD platform. And yes, I will show you one of the basic program um, through the embedded C++ platform. So it will be helpful for you to carry out journey with the same. So first, help me with the doubts you do have. So I'm opening up the. Okay, fine. Okay. So I believe each and everyone done some of the experiment in here in the circuitry section. Yes. Swati ma'am, Kirti ma'am, and Samishing Jaman ma'am. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Swati ma'am is already done this, and Lakshmani
Yes.
Subramania ma'am. So you understood the basic aspect of this programming, right?
Yes, I saw your circuit design.
Yeah.
Then I was trying to do
So
it.
whenever ma'am, actually Swati ma'am, you arrange the wire in irregular fashion, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
I'm not
was.
saying that is bad, but for
Yeah,
a regular practice, try to arrange the wires in a proper manner so that it won't be confusing for the student. Like here, you will find the difficulties like where the wire is connected or not. Then
yeah, yeah.
what else you can do in this thing? Let me tell you one of the way. Because in our Arduino, we do have many more pins related to the.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So I'm just pulling out the breadboard in here. I'm rotating it a little bit so that it will perfectly orient
Just a
with
quick question. Now that you're showing the breadboard,
yeah.
normally we use the 9-volt battery for many of the purposes. Is it possible to shrink the size of the battery on the screen?
Yes, it is possible. Not we cannot able to shrink the complete size of battery, but we can somehow zoom in and zoom out
No,
for
no,
the
I'm
same.
not talking about zoom in and zoom out. I'm talking about shrinking the size of it. Is it
Shrinking the size.
possible?
No, it is not possible for the
Because it
battery.
looks so, big. That's
Yeah.
why I just wanted to know, is it
No,
possible to?
exactly. In this particular platform, ma'am, this is not possible. Or
Okay,
maybe some
fine.
options may be there to. No. That option is not in here in the Tinker CAD platform. So it is not possible to reduce the size of each and every. So every component does have a standard size. So it will orient it like this. So mini breadboard does comes like similar size of Arduino. So it will look accurately the same, I believe. So while connecting the grounds and all, try to remove the wires you are using for the connection of LEDs and place the LEDs on your breadboard. So it will be great for you to orient each and everything. So now what I'm trying to do is to connect the LED in the breadboard stuff. Okay. Otherwise, you can hit a control Z for undo if you rotate it a little bit more than the required one. So I'm just dragging and dropping the register in here. Okay, let's remove these wires as well. So otherwise, what else we can do is to take the wire and connect that pin in here. take another wire. So your circuit will look neat and clean. So now the wires are connected properly. We need to add each and every cathode in one place. So what I'm going to do is to connect the cathodes in here in the negative terminal of breadboard, and further I will take another wire to connect this negative terminal to the ground section. So now we do have plentiful of ground points to connect many devices, many electronic components possible to the circuitry. So again, if I pull the red wire and connect it to the register pin, then it won't create a problem in here. Okay, let me see the code first. Okay, you have not done anything with the code, right?
No, sir.
Okay, no problem, ma'am. So I'm just connecting the wires on random numbers. So now the circuitry is looking good compared to the earlier thing we had. So even though if I just reduce this one and I bring this wire in its place, then this one will look perfect in all the senses. So now this thing is properly connected. Then only your student will not find any difficulties understanding the connections between the component and the Arduino itself. Otherwise, if you try to mess it up each and everything, then it will be difficult when you add more components in a single platform. So
Today I was
every time
just trying, sir.
no worries, man. I'm
Next
just
time I'll.
giving you the understanding.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm trying to provide my best insight on how to start with. Because on the first day, if you like go through this arrangement, proper arrangement of components and color codes of wires, then in the advanced phase you won't like commit any mistakes in between. Because we are only dealing with the three components now, that is why our circuitry is neat and clean. But if I show you one of the circuitry which I made earlier, grab me that box, please. The upper box. Grab that box for me. Yeah. Thank you. One of the circuitry I made by the soldering and all, if you can see in here, utilizing each and everything like the digital device, analog device, and also digital components in between. So this is basically a game console for the students in their classroom. So they can utilize this particular device. I utilize the Arduino Nano to to develop this particular project, and through this you can able to like do many operations, like you can utilize this device as a calculator or a stopwatch or even to play a game in it. So if you look on the back side of this circuitry, then it is messed up with the wires and all. So the reason why I'm asking you to go with the proper circuitry, because suppose in future if you have to go for the prototype development of some of the circuitry you made from the scratch, like the ideas you do have, and you completed the circuitry in any PCB designing software, then also you can able to go for the PCB printing, the printed circuit boards, and you will have your own product in your hand. It is STEM, and STEM robotics and AI is not only about teaching those stuff to our students, but yes, you have to behave like the innovators of tomorrow. Then only you can able to implement very good things in your classroom program. So I'm just utilizing the set built-in LED in here, and I'm again dragging and dropping the set pin function, like three of them, because I'm utilizing three of the LEDs in between. I'm changing the number back to 11 because I utilized one of the pins on 11. Utilized one of the LED on pin number 11, and second, the third one will be the pin number 3, because the third LED is connected to pin number 3. So I'm changing the value again in here, 11 and 3. So now this, okay, the first one is highs. Here we do have low, then low, and this one should be high, and this one should be low. Then only it will look great. Otherwise, we can able to blink the same command on the same time, there is no issue on that. If I start the simulation, let's see. So now also you can find the exclamation mark on top of the LED because current is flowing more than the required one. Because the register is, I believe register is not suitable for this application. So what I will do, I will change the value because you chose the 1 milliampere earlier. So I will change the value back to 220 ohms, which I mentioned earlier as well. Like you should utilize 220 ohms or 330 ohms in your circuitry to connect LEDs to the Arduino. So 220 ohm will work great. So couple of register also along with the components, along with the circuit kits which I mentioned in my group, you should buy a couple of registers, capacitors, transistors. I will give you the list for that. Okay. After this classroom today, I will help you with the list of that. And one ma'am requested me for the pricing and all. Yes, I will help you with the pricings of that thing. Actually, I was a bit occupied today with the development of humanoid robots. So I'm working on the project for day and night to complete that in time. But yes, some challenges are there still. So now the circuit is working perfectly and you do have proper idea how we are utilizing each and every components in Arduino. So help me with other doubts as well. If anyone do have any doubts, then please help me with your question. Then I will proceed further. Anything? Okay, fine. So yes, chat. Sir, can I see any circuits created under 321 Prisha account? Okay. Let me see whether it is available or not. So we do have Swati ma'am's design in here in the Arduino development. Let me go through the RGB circuitry and Lakshmi ma'am, Shaitali ma'am, and Lakshmi ma'am. Lakshmi ma'am only submitted the design in the RGB segment. And after that, in here, serial connection, Lakshmi ma'am, Shaitali ma'am, 321 Prisha. I believe there is no account name 321 Prisha because if I go through the students in there, there is no user 321 Prisha, I believe. So there is no possibility whether they submitted or not.
Sir, there is, if you see, my name was there
Which one?
under the list of students that you just went through. Yeah,
Okay,
down.
the name of the.
Yeah, scroll down
Okay.
further.
Okay,
Yeah,
321 Prisha is there. Yes, sorry, my bad. So circuitry you made. Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Okay, thank
Now
you.
it
This
is
is what I
good.
just wanted to confirm.
Okay, three of the circuitry you submitted. The Arduino number one flickering LED, Arduino 1, and Arduino 2 with the three of the LEDs.
So as I create more and more, they all will be visible to you here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So this circuitry also very good. So try to build the circuitry like this one so that it will be neat and clean so that your student will able to understand those. Okay. Let me show you one more example with the microbit function. Let me grab my microbit controller and help you with the um, block-based programming for the same. If you go through the microbit um, search, then you will find make code in here. You can also utilize these platform to do the simulation stuff. Okay, so if I click on the new project and further or part, If you are familiar with the Microbit platform or not, I don't have any idea. Do you ever tried using this platform for the application of STEM?
No.
So,
Yes, ma'am. Have you ever used this particular platform apart from the Arduino?
no.
No. So the reason why I'm showing you the microbit microcontrollers, because it does have various functionality inside of it. Means it does have a visual representation, like the LEDs is on board. You can see one of the microbit is in my hand, and the similar interface you can see on the screen as well. So microbit also does have the connectivity option, that is the Bluetooth. It does have the capability to connect the applications like the mobile application through the Bluetooth, and also there is an inbuilt compass, accelerometers, and a specific dedicated processor to which does have higher processing speed compared to the normal one. So if I try to program this, or like the same block diagram can be utilized, you can also like buy this particular microcontroller for your application. This will be the suitable one because it does have the proper LEDs on board, and you can able to simulate those stuff like the connection of LEDs, and you can control each and every matrix in the board itself. So it does have 5 into 5 LEDs on board. And if I show you, if I download this particular program into this microbit, so now it is downloading, and it will show you the exact outcome of the program we would like to do in this particular microcontroller. So this one is the greatest microcontroller, I say. Like the easiest way to explain certain things to our student, you can utilize this microcontroller. But yes, it is high in cost compared to the other microcontroller we do have. Like Arduino comes under 500 or 600 rupees, but microbit will cost you around 2000 rupees in total. So if you can able to gather one of the microbit microcontroller for yourself, then it will be great for you to utilize the conceptual. It will help the student to gain the conceptual knowledge in the inputs and outputs, like the digital one and the analog ones. So in earlier classes, we utilized the Arduino to to make the circuitry related to the programming blink, right? So let's explore the possibility how we can able to write it down using our embedded C compiler. If you do have, let me show you one of the software which I do use for programming of Arduino. So you just have to type in the Arduino IDE in the Google, and you will find that particular link. First link, the software Arduino. You should go through that link and you will land on this particular page. I will request you all to download the lower version, not 2.2 version, because maybe it will cause some of the issues. So I'm utilizing the 1.8.19. It is good because because of several reasons. So just click on the Windows 7 or newer, and you will be given by the prompt of like just download and contribute and download. So just click on the just download option, and you will find the Arduino board will give you one dialog to like download this file. So just continue the download option, and further.
Habla yo creo, güey.
Sir, please, may you please mute yourself so that it will be easier for me. Okay, after downloading this particular software, you just have to go through the search option and type in the Arduino. So I believe my screen is visible again. If not, then I'm sharing the screen back to you, the Arduino program. So this is the Arduino, and here you will find the blink example. So let me explain some of the basic aspects of the programming itself. This one is the sample programming, which you will get in the example section, like here. Okay, let me give you the overview of this complete IDE, so that it will be easier for you to understand the concept, how and what to do in this particular platform. So if I bring, okay, let me remove this thing. Okay, first of all, in any software you ever went through, we do have the menu bars, right? each and every software does have the menu bar, and when you click on the menu bar, you will come across the sub menu. So sub menu is nothing but a more like we can say that it gives us the more option to explore further on that section. So sorry. So in file, if you click on the file, you will find plentiful of options are there. So open recent, sketchbook, examples, and different things are there. So the sketchbook will show you my projects which I done earlier or something like that. And the example will take you to the specific place like inbuilt features, inbuilt examples of different programming from basics, digital analog communication control, sensor utilizing the sensors in it, display modules, the strings, USB, and so many things. You have to install some of the library for each and every. Suppose if you are going to utilize GS3231, that is the RTC, real-time clock for the Arduino. The time when you will install the library for this GS3231, the examples for that particular module or sensor or output device will show up in this section, in the example section. So you don't have to worry about whether if you are unable to like see some of the options in your screen, you don't have to worry. Just you have to download the uh, required libraries for the same to get these options as well. I will help you on that as well. So after the file option, we do have the save and save as option. The preferences is essential to like connect other board in the Arduino IDE. Suppose if you are going to utilize the ESP32 or Node MCU boards, because that is not manufactured by Arduino, so you have to add those things in additional board manager, and I will give you this link you in the chat section so that it will be easier. Just keep it as it is so that it will be easier for you to add those board as well in the programming environment like the IDE. And also, we do have the edit section in which you will find several options like the copy for forum, copy as HTML, paste, and further like increase and decrease fonts, find next, and previous. So the sketch section does have very useful things in it, like verify, compile. Whenever we do the programming and try to upload that program into our microcontroller, we must compile that first to see if there is any errors or not. The Arduino IDE is built in such a precision that it will never allow you to upload the error full code. Means if you wrote something wrong in your program, then these particular IDE will not let you upload that code to the board itself. Otherwise, what will happen? Your board won't work for future projects. So it won't let any error full of program to be uploaded in the board itself. So we do have include library, like several of libraries are there, even though you can able to manage the library and add multiple libraries for individual sensors. Suppose you are going to utilize the servo motors for your application. So you have to just click on the manage libraries, and further you will given by the option. Okay, just allow me a second. You will be given by the option to like search that particular library in here. So it is now downloading the index file, and further I can able to search the servo. By searching the servo, it will show me the library file required for the servo motor. See, the Arduino servo by Arduino version 1.1.8 is already installed in my computer, so there is no need for that. But make sure if you are copying some of the programs from the internet, like if you found some of the good programs in the internet and you are trying to replicate that same project in your school using the IDE, then make sure to install the exact version of the libraries which the person were like doing the experimentation with. If suppose if a person is utilizing one of the servo library version 1.1.8 for that for the project of like a smart dustbin or any smart projects, then you should also go with the same version, because updating or changing the version will change entire thing, because some of the basic things like calling the functions or executing some of the tasks is totally dependent on the versions. So new version, when the new version comes up, Then there are improvements in many things, like the suppose if you are calling some of the function, then there will be a difference between the call commands or something like that. So you make sure you will install the proper exact version of the libraries, then only it will work properly in your system as well. So after the libraries, we do have the upload feature, the verify compile. After the verify compile, we do have the upload feature, and upload is used to upload the code directly to the board you do have with you. And upload, and just below the upload we'll find another option, that is upload using programmer. So you have to understand the two concepts which I explained yesterday also. Okay, one chat is popping up, link is not opening up. That link won't open up because that link is only for the reference library file, the extra board file. That link should be copied, which I just pasted in the chat section. That link, you should copy that particular link, each and every content on that chat, and paste it on the additional file manager, additional board manager under the preference. Then only it will pull up the data related to the Arduino. Suppose, have anyone installed Arduino IDE in their computer?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
just go through the tools, and go through the boards, and then boards. There will be only one option in your Arduino IDE, right? There should be only one option in your IDE.
Can I just ask you a question? Is it by any chance an open source, because you are downloading so much from GitHub?
Yeah, this
It
is
is
the
an
open source one.
okay. Yeah, GitHub has got all open source packages, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
GitHub is the platform for the innovators and mentors who are like contributing with their codes, with their examples, with their library files. Suppose I built one of the sensor, integrating two of the sensors. Suppose I do have IR sensor independently. We can use that sensor, but I'm adding one more thing onto that sensor and trying to build something new out of the two of the things. Then what I will have to do, I have to build the library file as well to make it work in this particular platform or the IDE. So I will write the program. The library is something which already defines each and every function in it, right? Suppose I will explain you in a minute why we need those libraries and what is the requirement to have those things. So different developers comes with their libraries to like integrate the hardware device in the Arduino board. That is the main reason to have the libraries, and you can find those libraries for in GitHub for free. And otherwise we do have many platforms where you can find the libraries, but majorly the GitHub is the golden place, I can say, where a programmer can find plenty full of examples for different programs, software applications, and so many things. So that is the free repository for all. Some of the major projects were developed under the GitHub repository. So you can able to find those libraries and the project as well in the GitHub. So I asked one question earlier. If you go through the board in your Arduino IDE, you will find only one option, right? That is Arduino boards, right? Yes or no? Just help me with your answers so that it will be easier for me to explain what I'm trying to explain.
Sir, I'm finding two options.
And what is it, ma'am? What are
One is
those?
board manager and one is Arduino AVR
Yeah. The
boards.
the board manager is the common example you will find under
Yeah.
the board thing, under the tool itself. And apart from the board manager, you will find Arduino, right? In which each and
Yes.
every model of Arduino is mentioned. But
Correct.
if you look into the My RD, you will find ESP32, ESP8266 board, and Mini 4 board, right? I can able to program the ICs, the microcontroller itself, using my IDE without needing any of the development board. I explained you what is the difference between the development board and the microcontroller, right? Yesterday only I explained the difference between the microcontroller and the development board. Development board does have other thing as well in this same place where we do have the microcontroller. It is responsible to like get us the freedom to connect over the computer and so many things. Yeah, Mr. Shyam, it is not able to open, showing error. It won't open because if you look closely to the link which I sent, that is .json file. And that JSON file, you should copy that link. Okay, let me share my screen back if the chat section is visible. Okay, I believe now my screen is visible. No, I cannot able to share the chat. Just copy that that particular link, copy link, and go under File, Preferences, and paste it in here. Paste it in here. Then only the additional board. If you are utilizing any additional board, then only you should paste this thing in here. Then each and every option, like the tools under board, these options like ESP32 and 8266 will show up to you. Then only you can utilize Node MCU for the programming. It's using the Arduino IDE, because Arduino IDE is built, designed and built by the Arduino team, so it does not have capabilities to like support the other boards directly, because that function is not included in this thing. So for additional board, you should copy that link and paste it under preferences, under additional board manager, so that only you can able to access other boards in the IDE platform. Otherwise, it won't show it to you. So the reason why we do have these boards and all the things, suppose I do have one of the IC like Atmega 328P or PU with me, then I can directly program that IC using this feature, like the programmer part itself in here. You will find plentiful of option under the programmer, that is the ABR ISP, USB Tiny ISP, Arduino ISP. So make sure whenever you program any of the Arduino board, you select the Arduino ISP only and do not try to change that. Suppose if I'm utilizing Arduino as ISP, and I showed you one of the example earlier in Tinker CAD platform that we do have these. If I search the Arduino, then you will find 180 tiny. Remember, yesterday only I showed this particular IC to you. So how we can able to program this particular IC, like the smallest microcontroller? So using the programmers, like using the bridge, like utilizing one of the Arduino Uno, and we will connect that, wire that thing up using the ICSP port, which I explained earlier in my classes. We will have the ICSP. The ICSP port is not mentioned in this section in the Arduino Uno board in the Tinkercad platform, but in the image I showed you earlier yesterday that we do have ICSP section. So just let me show you one thing. Okay, fine. So you will find the ICSP section in here. Like we do have one of the pin set in here, and through this particular pin or the TX and RX pin, we do have 0 and 1s. Through these pins, we can able to program any of the microcontroller, like the simple 80 tiny and all. So that is why we do have these pins, ICSP and TX and RX pins in our microcontroller. So what we will do with these things, we will utilize the Arduino as ISP. Then only we will utilize Arduino as ISP. Then Arduino will act as a bridge between the computer and the chip, microcontroller, or any IC or programmable IC present in the market. So I will explain you further in my future classes. If you are interested to like continue with the journey, then yes, I will help you with the other sessions as well. So for now, I'm limiting myself to Arduino ISP, and further we will have the port option. So the time when you connect the Arduino board into the computer, like let me plug in the Arduino Nano I do have with me. So if I plug in this particular board in my computer, then only the port option will be visible to you. So right now I plugged in the Arduino, and you will find that COM6 is enabled in this section. But sometime what will happen, suppose some other devices like mouse and other hardware device is also connected, you will find more than 1 or 2 option in here, COM5, COM6. To make sure which COM is correct or not, just go to your computer settings. Okay, let me share my screen, the entire screen with you. So now my screen is shared. Okay, just go through the device manager, and here you will find plentiful of option. But in plentiful of option, you will see one of the option is port and ports, COM and LPT, right? So under COM and LPT, you will see one of the USB serial is connected at COM6, that is TH340. So if I click on this particular thing, you will find the particular hardware is connected to my system. Like the name is not mentioned, but yes, the
So
CH340.
you mean to say that this is the one that has been recently connected?
Yeah, if I remove my COM6 port, like the Arduino Nano, and you will find that
Oh, it
option
won't
is
show up.
gone
Yes, yes.
completely, right? If I connect back that hardware, then yes, under the port only you will find the option that CS340 actually is the driver for the Arduino Nano. So CS340 is identifier as well, whether which port we connected the device. So if you are changing your USB port, suppose if you are connected your Arduino Nano on the left hand side and you again took that Arduino Nano and connected it on the right hand side, then the port number will be changed. It is dependent on which port you are connecting. So make sure that COM6 is the Arduino Nano or Arduino Uno is connected to a specific port, and then go through the Arduino and then select the port COM6 if you find 2 or 3 option in here. Otherwise, if you are only seeing one of the option in the under the port, then yes, COM6 is fine to go with. So keep that option for now. And I believe you understood the basic concept how we can able to maneuver through this software. And just below the menu bar, you will find several buttons like we do have in the Tinker CAD platform, right? Tinker CAD platform, we also have the undo and several options. So if I go back to the Okay, if I go back to this particular program, Arduino IDE, then you will find one of the option that is tick mark, which says verify. Verify means this button is only to compile the program and to see whether our program does have any problem or not. So I clicked on the compile stage and you will find several things is happening in the background. Maybe these things were not visible in your computer because I set those things to debug my program. Like normally a simple person who is starting their career in this STEM and robotics does have the programming line of 15, 30 or 50 sets, but the programming I do in here is approximately the maximum number of lines I utilize in my programming is 500 approximately. So it depends on how many functions you are defining and how many things you are including, how many sensors you are utilizing in your programming in your project itself. So now it says done compiling means my program is good to go with. Then after the verify button, what we do have is the upload option. So upload option, if you hit the upload option, then what it will do, the board, the IDE itself will communicate with the board and try to upload the program into the hardware. But I don't have a like good data cable in with me for the Arduino Nano, so I believe it will throw me an error or something like that. So let's see, if I click on the upload button, then also it will start with the compiling sketch. First it will compile the sketch and then further it will go for the upload. Yeah, but yes, as I said, my data cable for this particular board is not good, so error occurred while uploading this sketch to the board itself. So let's leave this thing for now. And apart from the upload button, what we do have is the new option. So clicking on the new will give you another window with the simple basic stuff in it, so that you can able to start your setup function and the falling loop function and all. So after this, we do have open option and save option. So if you already have some of the program in your computer, you can click on the open button and it will like help you to go through the files in your local computer and help you to open that program into the Arduino IDE. And further, we do have save option. So try to save whenever we start any of the project. If we clicked on the new and this program showed up, then first save this thing somewhere. Like I do have many projects with me, so I'm just saving my first program in Arduino. Okay, so always try to save the program first, then only you should go with the writing of different things in here. So by default you will find two of the options whenever you will click on the new file in the Arduino, like the void setup and void loop. So as we used one of the option in the Tinker CAD, if you recall the yesterday classroom program, what we try to utilize is the loop, right? The forever loop itself. So forever loop is nothing but forever loop gives us the opportunity to execute the command on a continuous cycle, right? It will go on and on and on. So first it will follow the first section, then it will wait for 1 second, again it will execute the second section, then it will go for another 1 second to wait, and it will repeat itself for forever, right? A continuous number of times. So if I go back to the Arduino program, then you will find the same option like void loop in here to call the looping function, or the forever loop, we can say that. So why we do have void, and why we do have the void before the things like the setup and all, what is setup and all. So you have to understand those things. So if I open up my, okay, if I open up the Jamboard for you to explain a little bit more about the programming stuff, then it will be helpful for you to start with the same. So if I go back with the new Jam, so yes. So Arduino IDE does have interface to help you with the embedded C programming. And whenever, as I mentioned earlier, embedded C or C++ programming, as I mentioned earlier, this particular C or C++ does have two of the basic things. It is only based on the user interface. Every programming language does have the user interface in it to like go for the programming, and you know the basic aspects of programming, I believe. So why we do have embedded in front of it rather than the conventional C and C++. As we know, the C is the mother language of all programming languages do exist in this world, and C is the basic thing to start with. And if you would like to learn more about the C programming, then I will definitely suggest you one of the book which I love the most. That is Let Us See by Yaswant Kanetkar. Yaswant Kanetkar. So try to, Yaswant Kanetkar is the best book we do have in the market itself. So buy this particular book and it will help you to build the concept in C programming or any basic programming you would like to start with. So why we do have the embedded thing on it? Yeah, one chat is, yes, it is the best. Yes, ma'am, that Yaswant Kanetkar sir was the greatest person we do have in India. So yes, so why we do have embedded in it, as I mentioned earlier, so whenever we try to use the embedded thing in our programming section, means we are talking about some of the hardware, right? So what we are doing, we are trying to like program our hardware device to act, to work or to act. Even though our computer, we do use for this application right now, we are utilizing computer to have this meeting as well. So computer also utilizes some of the embedded codes. And you know how why computer is the embedded system, or why we say, why I'm saying that it is utilizing embedded code? Anyone do have any idea about this?
The C program will be embedded in the hardware, sir.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It is using hardware and software to connect.
Yes, absolutely correct, sir. So
Yes,
because
yeah.
the reason why I'm calling it the embedded system, because in computer we do have different hardware devices like keyboard, mouse, and so many things, right? Even though the printer does utilizes the same binary function, 0 and 1s. So if we have to communicate with any of the hardware devices, then yes, it works on the machine language, and you know the basic of programming, I believe. So the computer itself is the embedded platform. But why embedded C++ or C especially in our development of robotics? Because we are trying to program our hardware and store the data in our hardware to make it as a complete. Remember, in first few days, I explained three basic things we required for our robotics structure. And I was like correlating those stuff with the computer system, like input and CPU and output device. In robotics, what we do have is the sensors as to take the input to understand more about the environment. And in robotics, apart from the CPU, we call it as brain of robotics, or simply the microcontroller stuff. Brain is only, we can say, in front of our student to help them understand the concept, what we are addressing exactly with the term brain, because they won't understand properly the term microcontroller, as it is difficult for us to like explain the term microcontroller in front of them. If you show them the board Arduino, and you will tell that this is microcontroller, then that will be the false statement, because as I already mentioned, that board is not the microcontroller only, it is combination of different things, and we know it as development board. So development board does have the capability to communicate directly with your computer, along with the microcontroller in it. The chipset itself, the IC itself is the microcontroller, and the development board does have the capability to communicate with your computer. So apart from the things, the input and CPU, we do have output device, that is the motors, or any actuation or locomotion system, right? So what I'm trying to explain, whenever we talk in terms of embedded programming or embedded C++ or C programming, means we are talking about some of the features should be implemented in our hardware devices. Means we are programming our hardware devices to make it work as per our need. Means we are programming our hardware devices to react on certain inputs and provide the outputs for the same, right? This is why we call it as embedded C programming. And embedded C is something different compared to a conventional C and C++, because in C and C++, we will only get the user interface in which the series of commands will be executed and program will be executed. There will be no outputs which will control the hardware devices in total. So even though if you ever use the Turbo C for the application, like Turbo C for C programming, then you should know that Turbo C or any other compiler we do have only provides the visual output, like the user interface only. But we are talking about the embedded C, means hardware programming. So let's move back to this thing in here. So we do have some of the functions inbuilt for the Arduino IDE. Like one of the function, to call any of the function, we use the term void. So setup is one of the function in the Arduino, in one of the inbuilt function in the Arduino, which help us to like address the exact location of pins. Like the particular pin we do have 0 to 13, and in analog side A0 to A5, right? To address these pins, those instruction are already inside this particular function, this setup function. So we do not have to write each and everything to like address each and every pins in the microcontroller. So what we will do, we will directly call this function, the setup function, and insert what we are going to do with specific pins. It do have idea, the particular setup function does have idea about different pins, like what pin we are calling, like pin 13, and specifically if we are calling some pins, then what is the reason behind to call this pin, like for which purpose, input or output purpose. So we should define those things under the setup function. And further, we do have more functions inbuilt. I will explain you the loop in it that we used yesterday also, that in block programming we call it as the forever, or if anything comes under this loop function, then it will go on and on. It will repeat itself for or for infinite number of times. So it won't stop until and unless you will disconnect the board from the power source, or you will hit the reset button. By hitting the reset button will only deactivate the microcontroller for a fraction of second. Then what will happen, the microcontroller will start from the line 1 again. It will start from the line 1, and it will read the syntax and execute the command. And program, we call it different program, but in terms of different microcontroller, we do not call it as program. But as a professional point of view, if you are really into the embedded programming, or you do have very good background, then we as a professional call it as firmware. And you know about this particular word before. I believe you already have idea about the firmwares.
Yes.
Like our
Yes.
mobile phone also have the firmwares, in which like the operating system, or ROS, real-time operating system, we can say, or ROS. I will share the exact programming feature of ROS in my future classes as well, and help you to build a better core capabilities in the programming environment for development of firmwares for different devices like the smartwatch and so many things. I do have those programs with me and help you build those things. So we call it as firmware. As a professional, we call it as firmware, but for a student, for the sake of our class, or the um, for easy understanding of our students, we call it as programs. And program is nothing but what we call it as set of instructions, right? It is just a set of instruction. From line 1, the microcontroller will start to read out each and everything, and it will further help the microcontroller to execute the command in time, whether if we define if specific intervals or specific functions or specific, even though we can able to make different function in this particular platform, in this IDE itself. So you can define your, you can also build several of your functions to like help yourself, because some of the time why I'm saying you should go for your own functions in your programming. Suppose if you are designing one of the bots for like line follower bots. So line follower bot does have three of the IR sensor. So IR sensor means if I design the bot in here for you, it does have two of the motors like this arrangement and one of the caster wheel. Caster wheel is something uh, you will find these caster wheels in your chairs as well. It does have a independent rotation in each and every direction, so it is free to like rotate in its own axis, so it can able to like go for any direction. So apart from the caster, what we do have is the three sets of sensor in the line following board. Minimum of three. I'm not saying that it is limited to three, but minimum of three we do utilize it. We do utilize in line following board. So line, what is the role of line following board? Suppose if we do have arena, right? And IR. So okay, let me erase some of the things in here so that it will be easy for me to explain what I'm trying to explain. So now I remove this section. So go back to the pen. Okay. So now, so suppose IR for IR LED, as I already explained, the main reason why we do have IR LED is to detect the obstacle in front of it. And IR sensor does have two of the LEDs, and this is one of the type of which one, the active sensor or the passive sensor. This question will be on your teachers. Like already explained you the active and passive sensors, right?
It is an active sensor, I think.
Active
Active
type of
sensor.
sensor. Yes, perfect.
Yes, sir.
So one of them is transmitter, and another one is receiver. So transmitter transmits the IR infrared light to the environment, and further, whenever any obstacle comes in front of the device, then what it happens, it follows the law of reflection, and receiver receives it. So it is one of the active type of sensor which is generating its own signal, and further it is detecting its own signal to like make it work. So how, what will happen if, how it works, like how IR sensor specifically works on different colors. So suppose if we show any of the black color to our IR sensor, then you know the black color is great absorber, right? In the science point of view, it is great absorber. So anything which will fall into the black surface, it won't reflect anything, right? So the IR sensor cannot able to detect the black surfaces. That is the main loophole in the sensor. And the time when you will start working with this sensor in your practical projects, you will learn many things, as I do have knowledge in. So apart from the black surface, if we do have white surface in front of us, then it will obviously reflect the each and every amount of light, right? So in like the white surface is proper suitable for the IR sensor. Otherwise, what will happen to the black? It won't reflect and nothing will be detected. So what we do into our classroom program, we design some arena like this, in which we place one of the black seat in mid between and on the chart paper, and the leftover side does have the white space. So if I remove this line and go back, if I remove this line and try to draw one of the line in here, then what will happen? Let me show you what is the reason I'm showing you this example. Mercy, ma'am, may you please mute yourself so that it will be helpful for us to focus on this thing. So yes, so what is happening in here? Suppose if I'm planning to go for the line follower board, it does have three of the sensor, namely 1, 2, and 3. Then what will happen if I'm starting from this particular point? Then what will happen? The sensor 2 will be in here, the 1 will be in here, and 3 will be in here. If we draw the output diagram for this particular sensor, then what we will get in this situation, the condition 1. In condition 1, we do have three of the sensor, right? the 1, 2, and 3. So we will get the 1 will show us there is on condition, like it will give us the data 1 because it is on the white surface, right? And the 2, the second sensor will give us the data 0, and the third sensor will give us the data 1 again. So whenever this one is detected 101 accordingly, then what will happen? We will ask our motors in the bot itself to rotate in forward direction, both of the motor to reach the forward direction, right? And further, if it will move to this particular portion, then also it will say the same, not the same, because all of the 3 sensor, like this one is this second situation. In second situation, what we will get, each and every sensor will omit the data 0, 0, 0. Then what we should do? Either we can do the left turn or the right turn. And suppose no, if the thing is not like this one, so let me take the eraser and remove this thing. So okay, so let me take the pen again. So suppose if only one side corner is there, if one corner is there in this side, then what will happen to this particular situation? Our sensor will be placed like this, right? One in middle, second one is in here. So third condition, like this one is the third condition, and third condition we will get the value. The first sensor will omit the result of 1 because it is on white, and second sensor will omit the value of please help me with your answer, because this is my last session today. I would like to have a proper communication with you guys as well.
0.
0, right? And third will reflect
Again 0.
Again 0. So whenever this 1, 0, 0 will be read by our sensor part, then what we can able to do, we will ask our the complete bot, the line follower bot, to turn on right hand side, right hand side. And how we can able to do that? We will rotate this motor in forward direction, but we will rotate the second motor in the backward direction. Then it will completely rotate in its axis, means it will take a 90-degree revolution to like align it properly into this line. Then our sensor orientation will again be like this in here in fourth condition, and our bot will follow the straight line path. So these particular logics, like the forward functions, we need how the motor to generate the forward function, what we need to do, we do have 2 of the wires from each and every motor, right? So 2 of the wires in here in each and every motor, what we will supply, negative and positive. And negative and positive, I mean low, one wire will get low and another one will get high, right? In here also we will get low, in our other one will be high. So low high for motor will be our forward function to execute the motor in forward direction. And similarly, we can able to define many functions possible in our programming environment. And that is the reason why we do have different functions, like own generated functions for the programming environment. So I believe you understood the concept of functions and how we can able to come up with the idea to generate the functions for our projects as well. So under this setup, what we will do, under this setup, we can able to what we can do under this setup, we can able to write the program, like we will have to write in mode, and the time you will write the exact alphabetical order, like some of the letters are capitalized, make sure you are utilizing the same concept. In pin mode, M should be the capital, another each and every letter will be the smaller
The
one.
same convention as we had in Java also.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, correct. So suppose
except first word, the first letter of each word in capitals, right?
Yes. So in here, what we will do, we'll replicate the same example which I showed you earlier. Okay, let me go back to the Tinker CAD. Not this one, this particular feature. So here we connected 3 of the LEDs, right? 3 of the LEDs, one is connected to 13, second one is in 11, and third one is in the third pin, right? What we will do in the programming part, we will write why we are utilizing that pin and what is the reason. What is the reason behind that pin? We are utilizing it as output or the input. So we will write 13 comma output in capital, and we'll end it with semicolon. Semicolon will explain it like the end of line as well. So in here again I will take one more pin mode and and here we utilize the number 11 for the application. So 11 will be our
Saurabh if you don't mind,
Yes.
can you mute everybody, please? Because
I
you are the
muted.
host.
Yeah, I just muted that person. Mercy, ma'am, may you please keep muted yourself, because many times I tried muting you, but again the same thing is happening. So no worries, ma'am. So again, I'm ending this statement with the semicolon, because semicolon does explains the end of line, right? So you already do have idea about some of the basic programming, so I don't have to invest much time explaining each and everything in this segment. I believe if in any case, if you do find any difficulties, then please help me with your question. I will love to answer those. So again, I'm utilizing another pin mode. So again, the third pin is pin 3, right? So I'm just writing the pin 3 and writing the output. So if we are going to utilize any of the pins for my input devices, then what I will do, I will just write the input here. Then this particular function will be assigned directly to that particular pin. Means we are utilizing pin 2 only for the input, not for the output. Then it will always try to read the data from the pin 2 rather than write the data to pin 2. So other pins like 13, 11, and 3 is only, now we can only utilize these 3 pins to write the data, to generate the outputs. So under the loop function, what we can do, we do have 2 of the methods to do the programming, which I explained earlier as well. Let me summarize that for you for easy of understanding. So if we are doing the programming in IDE or any other platform, we must take care of one of the things, that is what kind of device we are utilizing, what device we are utilizing in our hardware, along with the hardware device. And by the term device means I'm talking about the input and output device. So suppose we do require some of the, three of the things, like we require 2 of the things we require in our system. First one is the analog, which I explained earlier. Like we do have analog devices with us, we do have digital devices with us. So if I separate those 2 things for you to understand, to help you understand the concept, then yes, the digital, let me take one of the example. Digital is LED and analog is the potentiometer, which you are utilizing in your Tinker CAD platform, right? One of the example to understand the difference between analog and digital ones. So potentiometer will give us the value, they give us the value between 0 to 1, right? But LED does work. LED is the output device, but potentiometer is the input device. So let me take same example for both of the things. We do have another input device for the digital one, that is the switch we utilize, like the push button we utilize in our concept. Push button is the example of digital input. And in analog output, we do have, for analog output we do have motors, right? We can able to control the speed of, I'm just giving you the basic example to understand the concept. Otherwise I do have plentiful of devices, name of the devices to help you with those. So in motors what we can do, we can able to utilize the analog function to generate different speed, and that is very important for us, because the time when I explained you the simple example like the project, right, the line following bot or something like that, line following bot. So in line following bot, the time when the bot will take the turn, suppose if you are moving in this particular line at 230 rpm rotation per minute, the speed of motor is defined in the rpm, the rotation per minute. Suppose if we are moving in 230 rpm, then again when this particular bot will come to this particular place in this corner, then it does have sharp 90-degree turn, right? If we try to move our car so sharply in the corner, then what will happen? The car will be thrown out from the arena. right? Or the road itself. So what we do, we will do the analog function in the corners to reduce the speed to 110 RPM or something like that, like 60 RPM or so. So maybe you already participated or like gone through any of the robotics competition. Then in robotics competition where I participated, we all the team members utilize the same concept, because if we do not reduce the speed, then we will move out from the arena. And if we do not reduce the speed in our car itself, it will throw us out from the road. So why I'm explaining you this example, because in future, suppose if you are developing any of the autonomous car, and that particular car is driven by the AI part or the programming part of your hardware devices. So on that thing, you should take care of these small stuff. Otherwise, the major accident will happen. So now what we do have is the range in analog system, and digital we do have is the two fixed values, 0 and 1. But in programming, we will utilize the value 0 as low and 1 to generate the high value. So we will use the low and high in our programming to address the 0 and 1s. And in analog, we can able to utilize the, we will call it as ADC, because we have to convert the value back to the digital one. So analog to digital converter is used, and the approximate value of these are 0 to 1, 0 to 3. So we can utilize these values to define 0 to 0 and 1, 0 to 3 to 1. You will find plentiful of examples of analog circuitry in internet, so that it will be helpful for you to understand the same concept. But to write the program in analog and digital, we should utilize two of the functions. So we will utilize analog write to write the data, and analog read to read the data from the analog device. And in digital, we will utilize the same, but in terms of digital write and digital read. The statement will be digital write and digital read. Digital read will be used for input devices, and digital write should be used for output devices. Similarly, for the analog ones, analog write will be used for output devices, and analog read will be used for input devices. That is the major concept to understand while starting your programming journey in this Arduino IDE or any other programming language. You do find various similarities between lots of programming languages we do have, because each and every programming language somehow is a part of the C programming, right? You will find the similarities between different programs. So I hope the concept is clear up to now. So I will move back to another. If you do have any doubts, then please help me with your question. I will love to answer those before proceeding to the program itself. And thank you so much, Exceed Robotics team, for making these sessions like great outcome for those. And thank you so much, sir, for your support on the hardware devices as well as the meeting planning and everything. So yes, I found one of the chat section, and from the team of Exceed Robotics sent me the new message. So thank you. So yes, tell me if you do have any problem understanding this one. Otherwise, I will move forward to the programming lesson. Anyone, any doubts still? Up to now, any doubts?
I think we may have to try our hand, and then only we will be able to know.
Just note that thing down in your copy. Try to make one separate copy for you, so that it will be helpful for you to keep track of small stuff, because these are not the bigger stuff. But if you miss any of the things in your programming, then everything will be ruined. So make sure you will utilize the same in your conceptual understanding. So now, and Swati ma'am is saying port is inactive. The port is inactive because you are not connected your Arduino board into the computer, right? Swati ma'am, may you please unmute yourself so that I can communicate with you directly? Swati ma'am. Yes, may you please fast unmute yourself? Yes, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Tell me, port is inactive because you are not connected your Arduino board, right?
Okay, sir.
That is why the port is inactive. The time when you will connect your hardware device to this computer, then port will be visible to you. In case if you find difficulties, then ping me over in WhatsApp after this classroom program, or any day you want to. I will help you out on that.
Thank you, sir.
There is no issue.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
So now each and everything is clear. So let me move back. I'm taking this screenshot for you guys so that after this session, I will share those as well with you. So if I remove this, let me clear each and every drawing. So if I have come back to this particular section, so in here, suppose if I have to do the programming for blink, the LED blinking, you will find that example as well in the file, in the example section under the file examples and examples. You just go to the basic and you will find the same blink example in here. So in case if you find difficulties writing the program for any of the device, you will find plentiful of examples in here, even though the analog input and analog output examples are clearly mentioned. So suppose if I click on the analog input example, then you will see the exact syntax being used. If you do have a little bit understanding of programming, then you will help yourself using these things. Like in here, the sensor pin is initialized, and also the setup function is called the pin mode. LED pin is called for output, and LED pin is nothing but pin number 13. Even though we do not have to like do this line in any of the programming, we just, if we remove this line from the programming itself, then what we need to do, we just have to replace the LED pin from pin 13. Then it will work perfectly fine. So the reason why we do have that function in the top of why we initialize the names for individual pin, because we want to utilize each and every in each and every line we should mention that name only. And if we need to change the pin, then we only just change the pin from in here, then it will call that pin 7 for the particular application, and it will be easier for you to do the programming for more output and input devices. So in here you will find digital write. It is writing digital write, and it is taking the input it is taking input from the sensor pin. Analog read function is implemented in here, and further it is writing the value to some pin to high and some pin to low. So you will find plentiful of example. Even though if I open the example for blink, you will find the same for the application basics under blink. Then you will have this thing like digital write and digital. Okay, let me this thing back and move back. Okay, no. Okay, let me paste this thing in
Okay,
here.
sir, one thing.
Yes.
Sir, in delay, the time is given in milliseconds, right? 1
Yes,
second.
I will explain that in a minute. I will just going to explain this. Wait for a second. Wait. Sorry. Why am I writing? Wait for a second. Okay, fine. Let me explain you why it does have the delay in thousand and so many things, right? Because our microcontroller, each and every microcontroller only have the sense of time in millisecond, not in second. It know, the microcontroller know only millisecond, means 10 to the power 10 to the power minus 3 second, right? Millisecond. So whenever we call the delay function in here, like we called the delay function in the Tinker CAD. Okay, let me go back to the Tinker CAD for you. So if we see the code, okay. If we see the code, we just directly into we inserted 1 second into the code function, right, in the code blocks. But if you look closely into the text section, you will find the same example, like the millisecond is being utilized in here also. Wait for 1000 milliseconds, delay 1000. So if you have to convert those things, so if you are going to utilize 1 second for your application, then yes, you have to change the value of multiply that thing with 10 to the power 3, so that it will be converted back to. So here 1000 millisecond equals to 1 second. So again, we are utilizing the digital write function in here. And why we do have LED built-in function? Because as I already mentioned, the LED built-in or pin number 13 is relevant, right? Both things are the same stuff. There is no difference between, even though if we remove the built-in and try to write the pin number 13 directly, then also this program will work perfectly. There will be no issue on that. So I just wrote the 1313. And further, what we do have, we defined other pins as well. So let me remove the comment. Yes, and to do the comment, you can use the backslash, backslash for the same. So let me write another line in here so that it will be easier for you to understand the clear picture of the programming. So here what we will do, digital write, and write in write the W is capital. So we are doing 11, pin number 11. So again, I'm generating the low value to pin number 11. And again, I'm utilizing this. I'm removing the pin 2 from here because in the Tinker CAD we utilize only 3 pins. So digital write pin number 3 will be high, right? So this program will work perfectly in all these cells. So digital write pin number 11 to high, ending with the semicolon. Do not forget to end the line with the semicolon. If your line is complete in all sense, then end it with semicolon. Otherwise, there is no need to. If you are defining some loops, like if and else statement, or defining any of the loops in the inside of the loop function, then you should not end that with the semicolon on it. Otherwise, it won't work perfectly. So now the blinking,
Pin number
yes.
3 should be low here, no, sir?
Yeah, we can do that.
Down.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. That will be low because in first instance we wrote it as high. So this program will work perfectly if we copy this whole thing and move back to the Arduino and just replace each and everything in here. So I replace the program and start the simulation. So this particular thing will work perfectly. There will be no issue in that. You can also verify your programs by connecting different wires in here and just write the program in the Arduino IDE and come here and paste that thing out so that it will work perfectly in your both of the platform. And yes, some of the software, yes, one of the software was freezing. Ma'am asked one of the questions, right, yesterday only, that is there any software to utilize it for simulation? You can utilize freezing. You can use freezing software for the same. That thing also does have the same, but to do the basic simulation for the student point of view, you only use the Tinker CAD platform. Otherwise, it will be complicated for them to maneuver through the small component, because the Tinker CAD platform is limited for n number of components. But in freezing and other software, you will find 1,000 or more than 1,000 of components. Each and every component will be mentioned in here. So I believe freezing is installed in my computer, so maybe my screen is visible to you. So you can utilize this. You can utilize this platform for the simulation stuff. Okay, it is not responding. So just allow me a second, please. Link of the software, just copy, just Google it. Just Google it. Yeah, freezing is the free version. You can utilize the free version. There is no problem with that. Okay, maybe it is not working properly for now, but yes, you can utilize the same for your application. If it will open properly, then I will show it to you how that thing works. Okay. For now, this is, I believe you do have proper understanding and on how to do the programming in both code environment and the block environment. Right? You can able to maneuver through both of the things at the same time using the code plus block plus text feature in the Tinker CAD platform. So
just two questions.
yes,
There is no autocomplete here, is it?
autocomplete in the Arduino IDE or in the
Yeah,
Tinker?
Arduino IDE.
No.
It's not there. Is it there in the Tinker platform?
In other platform, we do have autocomplete, but you should utilize other IDs for the same. But in Arduino IDE, it is not there. I will help you with
How about in this
Yes.
thing, Tinker CAD?
Tinker CAD also, we do not have the auto.
Okay. So
Okay.
apart from these methods that you have shown us, if
Suppose,
we
ma'am,
want,
you are stuck in
obviously we
any.
will need more. So where do we get the help for that?
You can ping me over, or you can find.
No.
You can post it in the GitHub section. It does have the question and answer section to like
Okay, so
resolve your
GitHub will
problem.
give you everything, right?
Yeah. The
Okay.
papers are in there. You can submit your question to the online forum.
No,
We
no,
do
I
have
just wanted to know what are all the other methods that are available
Mhm.
for usage out here. I mean, I'm
You
sure
can
these two
utilize
are.
ChatGPT. You can utilize ChatGPT for your application.
No, 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 no. You're not getting my question. Allow me to complete it. Just now,
Yeah,
when
sure.
when you went into the code section, can you open the text code here inside Tinker platform
Okay.
itself? Yeah. Can you show me the this thing? So here you say delay, digital write, and all these things are the methods, right? So
Yeah.
obviously there will be other methods also,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
So where do I
Yes.
get those?
Okay. So if you try to utilize one of the things which I do use, Arduino documentation. So everything does have documentation of. So go to the Arduino docs and you will find each and every examples related to the programming. So programming, built-in examples, library documentation, you will find each and everything in here in the documentation section.
Okay.
Even though
That's it.
Arduino does have the community to ask the question if you are stuck in one of the things. So getting started, click on the getting started and you will get each and everything from the basic, from the starting, like from the installation of the software and how to like proceed with the programming. You can follow the Arduino doc for each and every setup instruction and all. So it does have each and everything in here, ma'am. So type in the board. So we are utilizing R3, get it started, Arduino IDE 2.0, click on the OK button. And even though you will get the proper instruction how to install the program and start programming the same, like even though it will help you to like identify toolboards, click on next, analog, read serial, built-in examples, buttons, learn. There are very different places in the portal itself. So what is Arduino? Getting started with Arduino. Each and every portion is mentioned properly in this section. You will find plentiful of examples, reference to your functions, loops, and everything like the inbuilt function and how to create the function. It is everything is in here. So I believe your question is answered, ma'am, right? So here
Yes, that's what I wanted.
pin
So
mode
I
and
wanted
input.
the list of all the methods that can be used here and the
Yeah.
documentation for that also.
Yeah, you can utilize the Arduino documentation for the same. It does have each and every methods and examples to follow the same.
Because mostly what I have seen from what you have shared right now are the three methods, or rather the four methods: pin mode, the write method, the read method, and the wait also, right?
Yeah,
Delay.
suppose if you
Yeah.
have
So
to,
digital write, digital read, and then the
yeah.
delay and the pin
So
mode. These are
those
the
things are the
methods.
common thing in the
Ah.
Arduino, like
So
digital
apart
write,
from that,
digital
there
read.
are other methods also.
Yeah.
Where do I find them?
Yeah, if you are integrating the sensors in your programming, then just click on the sensor and choose the suitable sensor which you are going to utilize for the application, and you will find exact options to like start with the same. So suppose let me go down a little bit. So suppose if you are utilizing DHT11 for the humidity temperature and humidity sensor, then you will find the exact documentation. Even though the repository of this thing is linked to the GitHub page, so you will find the exact installation and method and examples for DST. Read humidity examples are properly mentioned. How to like include the header file, call the header function, and call the setup function, as well as to read the serial data from the sensor itself. So you will get each and every values, each and every lines along with the comment line. Like read the humidity from the sensor, you should utilize this line. If your humidity reading was successful, then print it to the serial monitor. So this particular thing will be utilized for the same. You will
Yeah.
find the
Thank you.
documentation
Yeah.
related to
Thank you.
that. Yes. So any other question I do have from the teacher side? Anything else I can help you with today? Okay, that program is actually.
Okay, now that you have mentioned that we will be working with this embedded C, where exactly does Python fit in here?
Sorry, ma'am. May you please repeat your question once
Yeah,
again?
all the while we had been looking at embedded C++, embedded C we have been looking at, but where does Python fit into the picture?
Okay, the reason why I included only the embedded C programming for the first 10 sessions, because I wanted to, because each and every teacher does not have proper background in the programming environment, right? So I started with the basic, but Python is a separate chapter. There is nothing included for the Python, but yes, I will update you on that topic as well in my future sessions, in which I will explain each and every programs and projects related to the Python. For now, the basic of STEM and robotics is done, and you are ready to go for the higher advanced level of programming and do several projects with the components and all. And further, we'll have the Python programming for the same. So I will help you with those sessions as well,
Yeah,
ma'am,
sure. Thanks.
after this today's session.
One question.
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask? So in that case, we have to take that Raspberry, that just like Arduino device, we have to take that also. Purchase that
No,
also.
there is no need to buy the Raspberry. Only Arduino for now will work perfect. But if you
Okay.
want to, if you would like to invest on some of the microcontroller, then two of the microcontroller I mentioned, apart from the Arduino, that is Node MCU and ESP32 CAM. That thing will help you to like build several projects in the Python and further
Okay.
program it to like have the outcome as per the syllabus,
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome, ma'am. Okay, so I hope each and every doubt is cleared by now, and no one do have any question. Even though you, after this classroom program, if you do have any question and any doubt, then please help me with your doubts in the group we made earlier, and try to be in the group so that even if I get any of the projects, good projects and notes, I will share those with you through this group and through the personal communication. So thank you everyone for your attentiveness and dedication to this classroom program. And thank you each and every one for their investment in the time in this section, in this session as well. So yes, I will love to start one more session in near future for the programming, advanced programming, and further projects we will do, because I only covered the basic part of these in this session that was very crucial for you. Right now, maybe you will not understand the importance what I taught you in some relevant topic, but in future, the time when you will go for the project in your classroom, then you will understand why I was keep mentioning that theoretical portion and why I was force you to understand few concepts in basic electronics and so many things. That is the only things through which you can do the innovation in your classroom and try to become the innovators of tomorrow. And we will meet someday. We'll meet on someday and see you in person in your classroom program. So thank you so much for your dedication and your support for this classroom program. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you,
See
Saurabhji.
you
Thanks a
again.
lot for the
Thank you
wonderful
so much.
session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'm so glad by the response. Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. I'm just concluding this meeting for now. Thank you.